Hello, I want to start this video off by specifying that my stroke was a brain or blood clot. It was not a bleed. Those two are different things. And I want also to correct something I said in the previous video. I said that I had my stroke on the 29th of September. That is not correct. I had it on the 29th of October. But even that is not correct. I had confirmation of my diagnosis of having had a stroke on the 29th. The exact date that the stroke happened, not sure. Probably will never know. However, it is quite likely that it happened super late on the 23rd of October or super early on the 24th of October. So the reason I said 29th of September was because that date has been a hot topic for discussion as well. On that date, I had my first dose of the COVID vaccine, AstraZeneca. Obviously, AstraZeneca is known for causing clots as well. And I just want to make it clear that I've had numerous tests done, and all tests have ruled out AstraZeneca to be the cause of my stroke. I've had many tests to try and find out what caused my stroke. To this date, I still don't know, and it's likely that I will never know. But I will later talk through the tests I've had and what information those tests have given me, because despite not knowing what's caused my stroke, I know a lot about what didn't cause it. A lot of things have been ruled out. However, in this video, you can see on the screen a timeline. These are all dates in October. I had an MRI of my brain, which confirmed my stroke on the 29th of October. However, my first symptoms started a week and a half before that, on the 19th, on the Tuesday. I woke up that morning with a severe headache, and I have headaches often, different types of headaches. Didn't think much of it. It was intense, but it was not like a migraine. I was able to get up, took some pills, thought, I'll just see how I go. I'm currently working from home. I decided to give it a go and just call in sick if it got worse or if I couldn't do it. And I sat down and I was working, and a couple of hours went by. I had mad pressure in my head. And then I started experiencing severe heat build up in my head, and it's getting very warm. The few days before that had kind of been similar. It's getting warmer in Australia. And I asked Tristan if it was warm because he was sitting in the same room, and he said, no, same as yesterday. I went and looked in the mirror, and it was really red in my face, and I felt really warm. Tristan touched my skin, said I didn't feel warm. We checked my fever. I didn't have a temp. But for me, the heat in my head was building up very quickly, very fast, to the point where I had thoughts about getting brain damage, because it felt to me like the heat was going to fry my brain. I've had over 14 fever in the past. I know how that feels, and that's how it felt like. I asked Tristan to pretty please go to the pharmacy, buy another thermometer in case the one we had was faulty, and to buy me aspirin, which contains blood thinning. Well, doesn't contain blood thinning, but it is a blood thinner. I don't know how it works. But he dropped everything he was doing. He was working from home, went straight to the pharmacy, Came home, I took aspirin, we checked my fever, there was no fever. I called in sick and lied on the bed with this severe heat in my head, feeling like I was burning up and the heat wasn't able to leave my head or my face. I took aspirin and it felt like I was drifting in and out of consciousness for a little bit, just a couple of minutes maybe, I don't know. But I started feeling relief not that long after taking the aspirin. And yeah, I didn't feel as hot anymore. So I slept, and I slept a lot. The next day, Wednesday, I don't work Wednesdays currently, so I was just sleeping a lot. I was fatigued. Like the day before, I kind of refer to it as a heat stroke. That's kind of what it felt like. And that's how I kept wording it to Tristan, that, oh, my heat stroke. But the next day I didn't have anything like it. I was fine, just extremely fatigued. I slept and slept and slept and did not get out of bed until after 6 in the evening. And I got up and I sat at the computer for a little bit. And I was sitting here and my vision went blurry. First it was just blurry out in like my side vision. And very quickly my whole vision went blurry. I couldn't read, I couldn't see. Like when Tristan held up fingers, I could see how many there were, but it was extremely blurry. And I tried to blinking and moved away from the computer. Didn't change. It just stayed blurry for maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour at the max. And then it went back to normal. Those 2 days in combination terrified me, and I thought, I need to go and see a doctor. This is not normal. Something's going on. My regular doctor, it's about a 45-minute drive for me to drive there since we moved. And she's amazing. But due to the symptoms I've had and working from home, I thought I'll see a doctor. That's a 4-minute walk from where I live. So I booked in an appointment. And when I saw this doctor on the Friday 22nd, I explained all my symptoms to him. I also explained to him that I'd been having moments of dizziness daily for over a month since having my AstraZeneca vaccine, and wondered, is it related? He tested my blood pressure, which was perfect. That's the only physical check he did. He asked about my history. I explained to him that, yeah, I've had some mental health things in the past, especially my teenage years with seasonal depression in Norway and whatnot. And he looked at me and said, I think it's all in your head. I think it's mental health. Didn't sit right with me because when I've had mental health in the past, I don't normally get blurry vision or feel like I'm having a heat stroke. And I've had anxiety attacks and panic attacks in the past. And my heat stroke was nothing like that. Anyway, he took blood tests. I went home. Saturday was kind of normal. I went to bed with Tristan pretty late that night. It was probably 2 in the morning Sunday when we went to bed. And Tristan had fallen asleep and I was facing away from him on my phone, and I put my phone away and went to turn around to face Tristan to sleep on that side. And I got very dizzy. And like I mentioned, I've been having dizzy spells for almost over a month by then. But those dizzy spells maybe lasted for a second. Not very long at all, but this just lasted. And the room just kept spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, and it just did not stop. To the point where I knew I was lying in bed, and I knew that Tristan was on my right side. I knew I had a table to my left, but the room was spinning so much that I still didn't know or couldn't coordinate my body to know where those things were in relation to me. It was spinning so much I couldn't really lift my hands or move much at all. And at that point in time, I knew something was very, very wrong. I was terrified. And I was scared because Tristan is a very heavy sleeper and is very, very hard to wake up. And I was scared to try and wake him because I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to. I didn't even move. I just, not even loudly, just said, help me. And he woke up. And I said to him, I'm so dizzy. The room is spinning. It won't stop spinning. It's just going on and on and on. And he tried to get me to sit up, and I couldn't. I just kept falling to the side as if gravity was pulling me to the left. He tried to give me some water, and I couldn't drink. And it just kept spinning and spinning, and all the spinning, even though I was sitting still with eyes open, eyes closed, it felt like I was falling to the left and spinning to the left. And it made me so nauseous. So Tristan grabbed me a bag. I started vomiting. Tristan called an ambulance. It was probably 2:30 in the morning. I'll end this here, and I'll keep going with the storyline in the next clip. But yeah, he called me an ambulance about 2:30 in the morning. When I was lying there and I couldn't control my body, I couldn't sit up. Could kind of lift my arms, but it was hard, and I was just vomiting, and I was terrified, and Tristan was terrified.